Hey everybody, my name is Eugene Chang from Freedom Profits Blueprint, and today I would like to talk about how to spot and avoid scammers on Alibaba. Now, some of you might experience it, some of you might not, but this presentation will give you a checklist which I use to save myself from being scammed. Now let's get right into it. So what will you learn from this presentation? And the first thing you'll learn is the key indications to avoid scammers on Alibaba, and you will learn about the tips to avoid the middleman as well. First of all, avoid free account members. Now, this is a basic rule to enforce yourself, to reduce your exposure to scammers on Alibaba. Now, keep in mind that free accounts are not checked or verified by Alibaba. Therefore, if sellers are serious about offering quality services and products, now they will pay your fees for a gold account to validate the commitment as shown in this image here, the gold supplier. Although this rule does eliminate a lot of scammers, but keep in mind that this does not guarantee a professional service or quality products. Now, technically, you haven't been scammed yet if you receive lower quality products than what you were expecting, but this can just be as damaging and detrimental to your business. If you're not satisfied with your product, don't expect your customers to be satisfied as well. And next, you need to ensure that supplier supports the Alibaba Trade Assurance Program, now giving you the buyer 100% payment protection. What does it mean by, for instance, if your products are not shipped on time or the product quality does not meet the standards set in your contract with your supplier, Alibaba will provide a full refund to compensate for your loss. Now that's a top-notch customer service. Now, thirdly, you can check the supplier's Alibaba account's age. Now, big boss Alibaba is constantly trying to eliminate scammers. So it is fair to say that the longer an account has been operating, the less likely it is to be a scammer. Now, scam accounts, they face a constant risk of being identified and banned. So the longer they operate on Alibaba, the more likely they are to be reported and eliminated. Good practice is to consider accounts older than a certain length of time. Now, this will reduce the likelihood of you being scammed. Imposing a minimum account age of, say, 2 years should eliminate a lot of dodgy sellers. Now, though this is not a guarantee, so always be cautious when sourcing for suppliers. The next thing is to do your homework, guys. I'm serious. Do your homework now. It is important to put in some effort into doing a background check on suppliers, and what easiest way to do is to Google them. You can take this opportunity to play Sherlock Holmes. Check if they have a website. Do they have any social media accounts? Do they have any reviews, customer reviews online? Now, this may seem obvious, but you'll be surprised that a lot of buyers are not doing this kind of basic check, and some ended up being scammed. Lastly is to ask for verified documentation. Asking for documentation from a Chinese company can be a way to quickly review any untrustworthy companies if they refuse to provide you their documentation. Now, the key document to ask for, of course, is a business license, and legitimate companies are more than happy to show it to you. Now, it is important to verify the documentation because pretty much anything can be replicated in China, now including official documentation. Now, you can verify your documentation received using this website here, linked below. So it's www.chinacheckup.com. Now, keep in mind that each verification comes with a small fees. You can find out more information on the website, so be sure to check it out. And now, extra tips to avoid the middleman who will charge you a higher rate for their services. The first tip is to check the supplier's business type in their profile. Now, this is looking at this image here. That's a sample screenshot that I took. So, if the business type is manufacturer, now this type of business indicates that the supplier is only selling products in manufacturers, and manufacturers are highly specialized in their field of products manufactured due to limited machinery and also tools. Now, the second type of business type is trading company. Now, this type of business indicate that the supply is either independent or owned by another manufacturing company, but most of the time they are independent. Keep in mind that trading companies offer higher costs compared to manufacturers, but they're more professional when it comes to making deals. Now, the third one is a supplier can be both a manufacturer and also a trading company. So this indicates that the supplier is both manufacturer and trading company. It is common in the industry where suppliers expand the operation by selling and marketing products manufactured in their own facilities and also trading similar products manufactured by other suppliers. And while this type of business indicates that the company is indeed a manufacturer, you can't be sure whether they're manufacturing or subcontracting your product to other suppliers. Now be sure to weigh out the costs and the benefits before selecting supplier on Alibaba. Tip number 2, check supplier's registered capital. This is an indication of their company size. The companies with registered capital less than RMB 500,000, which is Chinese yuan. Now that should be avoided if possible, and that is around 76,000 US dollars. Now this is the strongest indicator of the supplier's scale of operations. So the lower the capital, of course, the smaller the operations are. Now the more capital they have, the more likely they are to care about their reputation. So keep in mind that the most reliable supplier cannot compensate for your defective or damaged products if they don't have the resources, the money to do so. Now, hence, it is important to make sure they have a higher capital, and what I suggest is a minimum of 500,000 RMB. Let's take a look at tip number 3, which is check the supplier's product selection, their product catalog. Now, Alibaba supplies the product catalog can give you a lot of information, and it is one of the most important factors when selecting a supplier. Now, the golden rule is to find a supplier that is specialized in manufacturing or trading a certain product line. Now, product specification indicates that the supplier focuses on manufacturing and perfecting a line of products. They have a range of the same product with different material type and quality for your selection. Now we both know that quality trumps quantity when it comes to sourcing for suppliers, and finding the right supplier supplying the right product will have a large impact on your business. I would like to conclude with this quote by Thomas Edison: "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." Following the rules and tips explained should assist you in avoiding Alibaba scam in most cases. Now, don't fall for the trick of low prices and salesmen's sweet talk, because that's what they meant to do. That's the job. And don't be one of those guys that think they're smarter than everybody else. And do your research, and do your homework, because most of the time, all these people, they don't realize they were scam, and they get what they pay for. So once you have imposed all those rules and checks, you end up with a list of suppliers who seem to meet the most basic requirements, giving you a good indication of which supplier you would choose. Now it is time to contact them and get a quote so you can proceed to your next step of private labeling for your e-commerce business or any other businesses that you're working on. I wish you the very best of success. Thanks, guys.